What is up, guys, and welcome back to another day of Whitley Auto Works. Here lately, you guys have been asking me to do a review on a particular spray gun, and finally a company was nice enough to send one out. The D1 Drizzle, guys, the Inokraft low volume, low pressure paint gun that's been making a splash all over YouTube. I finally got one. We're going to do a full unboxing today, guys, and see, does this thing really do what everybody says it does? Everybody's saying the spray pattern on this thing is more comparable with the high-end paint gun. So I've got a fender back here, and we're going to put this thing to the test. The Inokraft D1 Drizzle. Will it live up to the hype? Let's get into it and find out. Inokraft D1 Drizzle paint kit, guys. Look at everything included in this. Where did I even start? Right here, you have this piece of paper that you can write down all your settings and everything for your different projects, which is really cool. You never see that. The user manual, which I'm sure is very friendly, but even better than that, you have this really cool quick start guide, guys, which breaks down every component of the gun system so you know what it does, how to assemble it, how to break it down, and how to set it up. And speaking of the gun itself, here's the Inokraft gun. Really cool gunmetal finish. It comes with a water separator. It comes with a regulator. It comes with a carrying case because it does have 3 different tip sizes, guys. A 1.3, a 1.5, and a 1.7, as well as this really cool PPF adapter for the disposable cup systems that everybody likes to use nowadays. So this is the cup itself. The Inokraft logo is stamped on it, looking very nice. And if you flip it over, it's telling you all about their disposable paint system, where you can throw away the cups, the liners, everything else. They're all in one setup, so we'll have to definitely check that out in the future. This comes with the gun cleaning kit with the little tool to take everything apart, a little brush, and to top it all off, it comes with Teflon tape. Who do you know that actually includes Teflon tape in their gun setup? So a really cool all-in-one setup. So we're going to be using the 1.3 because that's perfect for base and for clear. So let me set it up real quick for you and we'll get into it. Alright, guys, so you've gone through your quick start guide and you're ready to set this thing up. So first thing you want to do is grab your actual spray gun. Now, really cool spray gun. It does come with a 1.3, a 1.5, and a 1.7 tip. But how do you change them? Well, this is going to be the same process whether you're changing tips or actually trying to clean it. What you want to do is grab this right here at first. You want to unscrew that. That's going to be your first tip you have to take off. Then you want to grab your tool. You want to squeeze your trigger because you don't want this needle to bind to the actual tip, and you want to break this loose right here. Now, these always be really tight when you first do them, so you want to loosen them up, and you want to take it out, and then you want to retighten it up just to make sure it's easy to get out in the future. This right here is going to be your needle adjustment, guys. This is what regulates how much paint gets to actually flow through the gun. So you want to unscrew this completely. It's going to have a spring on the very end of it. As you see, you pull that spring out and then you can pull the needle assembly out. And every time you go to change out to a different tip, you'll have 3 parts. You'll have this right here, the needle itself. You'll have the first tip that actually screws in, and then you'll have your disbursement tip. So all 3 of those are included in that little kit right there to change it out to a 1.5 or a 1.7. But you can also clean everything up now, and then reassembly is going to be much the same way. You take your little needle right here, you put that in, you take your spring-loaded piece, you put your spring on, you put your fluid adjuster in. And, you know, it gets easier with time, guys. I know some of this, especially if you've never played with a paint gun before, be a little bit intimidating, or some of you other guys probably already know this, and if you've been any kind of experience with a paint gun, you just want me to skip forward to the good part. So, but I got to show all this stuff, guys, so everybody that's new to the game knows how to set it up. So you put that on there, you tighten that up. Just get it snug, guys. You ain't got to kill it. I know a lot of times when they send these from the factory, man, they kill it, tighten it up. And then you just tighten this back here. Now you can spin this different directions depending on how you want your fan pattern. If you want it to be like that, then you have it like that. If you want it to be sideways, then you have it like that. So multiple different ways you can set up. Now you can release your trigger. It's good to go. And yeah, that's how you disassemble it. Now let's put on the regulator, the water separator, and then we'll get into full adjustment with setting it up, getting it ready for spraying. All right, guys, now we're ready to assemble the rest of the gun now that you know how to break the gun down. It's pretty simple. This is the cup right here. It screws on the top right here. No Teflon tape or anything needed. It just seals against its little self, and you just tighten it up till if it turns no more. Then the next setup, you're actually going to need Teflon tape for. That's the regulator right here. So this will actually get Teflon tape on the actual end of the threads right here. So let me put that on real quick. Just give it a couple of rounds of Teflon tape. You ain't got to kill it, just a few rounds. And take it off like that. Like I said, make sure you don't have any in this hole right here. And then you take your regulator assembly, the threaded end of it, and you start it on here. Tighten it up real nice. And, you know, you can swivel it, you can turn it however you want to. Me, I'm going to set mine up with it facing like this. So, there you go. And now, the key right here will actually snug it down. That's what this is for. So, you put it on the side, and you snug it down. All right, that's got it snug. So now you've got your regulator adjustment. Now, you've got a thread, or you have to put Teflon on this right here so that you can put on your water separator. Now you take out your water separator and screw it on. And like I said, you don't want to kill all this stuff because you don't want to break it or mess anything up. So as far as everything goes, they include this right here, this little nozzle attachment. This is universal, so you can screw the hose right onto the end of it. However, I got a specific one I'm going to use for mine. It's just a generic one I got at Harbor Freight. So I'm going to grab that real quick. We're going to put that on, and then we can get into some adjustments. All right, guys, so before we get into doing some test sprays, I want to establish a baseline with this gun right here, and I want to show you guys the 3 different setting adjustments you're going to have to adjust when we get to it. That way you'll understand everything. All right, you got your air inlet right here, you got your fluid control right here, and your fan patterns up here. So as far as the air inlet goes right here, when you turn it counterclockwise, you get more air pressure. When you turn it clockwise, you get less air pressure. Well, we're running a regulator, so the regulator is going to control all of that. So what you want to do is turn this counterclockwise all the way till it's completely open and let the regulator do all the adjustment. Now, the next setting, the fluid control. Now, the way you do this is you squeeze the trigger all the way, you turn this in until you start to feel tension, and then turn it another full turn in, and that establishes your fluid throw on it. That lets this nozzle open all the way up when you squeeze the trigger, giving you maximum fluid. So that's a good place to start, and you can fine tune from there. Your third and final adjustment up here is your fan pattern adjustment. When you turn this counterclockwise, you get a wider pattern. When you turn it clockwise, you get a smaller pattern. So what I typically like to do is open this all the way up and then turn it a full turn in, just to give you kind of a little bit of a range of motion. So those are your 3 basic settings: your fan, your fluid, and your air pressure adjustments. And now we can go shoot some on a test panel and really fine tune this gun. Something else I want to take a second to acknowledge with this kit real quick before we go into setting it up is look at how everything's labeled. You got a plus and a minus that shows you how to dial everything in. And right here on the fluid adjuster, if I get in here real quick, you got a little teardrop right here, and it actually shows you how far your throw is in. So at the first 4, you're at full. As you turn it in, it gets smaller, and you get to number 2. Now you're at half trigger, and then all the way to 0. Well, that would be fully closed. So little extra things like that set this gun apart from some of the other stuff, making it very user-friendly for anybody that's just getting into painting. All right, now let's do some test sprays. So as far as adjusting your regulator goes, Inokraft says you can run this between 20 and 30 psi. The way I've got mine set up right here, guys, I'm running at 28 psi. So when I pull the trigger, that sets it up just at around 28-30 psi. And now let's do some test spray outs. Alright guys, so just a friendly reminder, make sure before you do any spraying, you clean your gun inside and out thoroughly and set up your baseline settings, that way you're kind of in the ballpark or whatever. Also, if you have any questions at all, it's got that quick start guide. You can refer back to it. It shows you in detailed instructions how to actually get a decent fan pattern and set everything up and dial it in. So it's very helpful. And obviously you can watch my video if that helps you out too. So, all right, I'm gonna put air pressure on this real quick and we're gonna start spraying. Now you wanna hold your gun about 8 to 10 inches away from the panel, and we've already done our baseline, so let's see where our pattern's at. That's actually a pretty good pattern, guys, right out the gate. Obviously, you can adjust it. You can turn your fan pattern down. That's a little bit further in. That's really far in. So, like I said, I have my fan pattern all the way out and then about a full turn in. And when I do that, that's actually a pretty good pattern. That's what you want to see, kind of a football pattern with rounded edges. So I think this gun is actually set up pretty well. We are shooting some Nason automotive paint today, but I got fender prep behind me, so let's get to spraying that fender. All right, now we got our fan pattern set up, so let's get to putting on our first coat of base. I'm gonna start out very light, probably about half trigger. I'm just kind of getting familiar with the gun, and right away I can tell it has an excellent fan pattern. It's more on par with some of the higher end guns I've tried in the past, and it's very refreshing to try a gun like this. And as you see right here, I'll get a little more aggressive with the trigger, probably pulling it about 3/4 of the way, just kind of learning the gun, trying different things and seeing what it does. So this is pretty good for a first coat. You ain't got to go crazy with it. And yeah, let's move on to a second coat. For the second coat, I'm going to go on a little bit heavier with it. I'm going to do full trigger and really see how this thing lays it out. Now, you are shooting a metallic base coat with this, so be aware it's going to get heavy, and you might get a little bit of modeling when you decide to go this heavy with it. But I really wanted to test how this gun responds and lays it out when you put a really heavy coat on it. So, I'm going to finish this coat up, and I'll show you what it looks like. And as I expected, we have a little bit of cloudiness, a little bit of modeling, but I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. That's no problem, especially with a gun of this quality. What I did was opened up my fan pattern, I slowed down my passes, and I stepped back just a little bit, guys. And what I'm doing is just kind of dust coating, or doing what they call an orientation coat, to lay the metallics out good. That way, everything is nice and consistent before I go on to clear coat, because if you leave that modeling in, it will show through, and you don't want that. So there you go. It's all fixed and ready to move on to clear coat. Man, this gun really sprays really well. And here's the fan pattern. Can't argue with that, man. It disperses everything very well. All right, moving on. All right, guys, so after 3 coats, you saw on that second coat I had that modeling. I was able to drop back just a little bit, open my fan pattern completely up, and now that's completely gone. Man, this Inokraft Drizzle D1, guys, is no joke. It has an excellent fan pattern. I've been shooting this green metallic Nason paint I had. I'm sorry I don't have a paint code if you guys are interested. Next step, we're going to hit it with some fender sworn clear. I've let this flash off for about 10-15 minutes. And yeah, let's see how this D1 Drizzle shoots clear coat. One more thing I want to mention, guys, is this gun is an LVLP, low volume, low pressure, which means it's not going to tax your compressor as much as a standard HVLP gun, which is a great advantage for anybody that doesn't have the biggest capacity compressor out there. So definitely a very cool product, whether you're just a beginner that's getting into painting for the first time, or you're an industry pro and you're just looking for a good affordable paint gun. I really like this thing so far. It's highly impressing me with the way it's spraying out. It's laying out the clear great. And yeah, well, time to show you guys the final results. And let me know what you think. Alright guys, so the Inokraft D1 Drizzle. Guys, I think it goes without saying. Look at the way this thing laid out, the clear, the paint. Everything about it was so user-friendly, so easy. I definitely recommend this gun. But what do you guys think? Alright guys, so today we reviewed the Inokraft D1 Drizzle. Now, of all the paint guns I think I've reviewed in the past 8 years since I've been on YouTube, I started out this whole channel using my Seta Digital, guys, which is a very expensive paint gun. And then I started this motto to where I was going to use more user-friendly paint guns that were cheaper that you guys would use. I'm going to use the same stuff you guys use. I'm not going to use the best of the best paint gun and, you know, use a $600-700 paint gun, do spray outs with it, and then you guys see it and want to attain the same results and it not work out. However, this Inokraft D1 Drizzle definitely opens up the doors to a better quality paint gun for a lot less money. Of all the cheap paint guns I've reviewed over the past 8 years, this is definitely the best spraying, the best designed, and the most user-friendly gun I think I've ever seen. Like I said, I'm used to spraying with the Seta Digital. I've seen the DeVilbises and the Iowatas and stuff like that. But for the money, guys, this is hundreds of dollars less. The machining quality on this, because I come from a mechanical background, it's very well thought out, it's very well designed, everything sits properly like it should, it seals properly, and the results speak for themselves. I was able to dial everything in. My final settings on this is I had the fan wide open, I had it at 28 psi on the regulator, and I had 3/4 trigger. So I had it on the 3 on this little fluid adjustment. And I stayed back about 8 to 10 inches when I was spraying, and it laid out perfectly, guys. And you can get the same results too if you have just a decent compressor set up and you use my settings. And you know, it's a cool day right now. It's about 72, 75, somewhere in that area. No humidity. I used base coat Nason paint, just regular Nason base coat paint. It was a green metallic color. I don't have the paint coat, unfortunately. Real pretty green metallic. And then I used the Finish One Clear with the slow activator or slow reducer. And this is what I got, guys. 2 coats of clear, 3 coats of base. You saw I had to do that extra coat to get rid of the modeling where it had all the blotchiness. And that's a little tip for you guys if you want to get rid of modeling. Just drop back a little bit and open up your fan pattern and kind of do like a dust coat over it, just kind of to get the metallics to lay out more consistent. And this gun does that great too, guys. I mean, it's just an all-around good gun for the price point. I've not seen anything else yet that could beat it. So I definitely recommend the D1 Drizzle. I'll have links to the description to everything. A big shout out to the company for sending this out today. It's an awesome product, and I think it's a great gun for anybody that's just getting into paint and wants to have that quality finish that they see all these shops get with more expensive guns. But I appreciate you guys for watching today. If you like this review, you made it this far in the video, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Ring that little bell beside it. It'll notify you every time a new episode drops. And leave me a quick like and comment, guys. I always tell you guys to rate my spray outs. Rate this 1 through 5, 1 through 10, and rate the D1 Drizzle, what you think of it. Like I said, links in the description to everything I use. If you can't find it there, click ASCII on YouTube. That's where I have the clear, the mask, all the other stuff I use on the channel. It's always in my Amazon store. We will get a small kickback, but it costs you guys nothing extra, and you get the benefits of Prime and everything else they have to offer. I had a lot of fun today. Once again, I appreciate the company for sending out a D1 Drizzle. I've highly been wanting to try one of these because I've seen so many good results on YouTube, and this thing did not disappoint. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. I appreciate you for watching. I'm John from Whitley Auto Works. Hope you have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.